how Haley, how Catherine is so dependent on Haley.
I read that in your review. I know.
I kept looking to see why she wasn't in the service or anything, like she had PTSD or.
No, you're right. You're right. I was fascinated that you mentioned that in your review. Thank God you still put 5 stars on it. That was good. But I was worried when I read it and said, what's the story with Catherine and Haley? She's got this fixation about a dog. I will say that, no, I'll say that the answer is that, first of all, I'm encumbered by being a hopeless dog lover. Okay, if you feel the way I do, I've had we've had dogs forever, but I had a German Shepherd who was the focal point of Buck in the collectibles, and he was 140 pounds. Patty says he started at 125. Every time I tell this story, he gets bigger. Anyway, it's. I still think he was 140 pounds. It's kind of like fishing, but and he was a working shepherd. We had a farm with 150 acres, and I'd cut all the timber heated our house for 20 years. Out there working, and Duke would actually be able to hold the line. You can either put a chip in a tree and get it to fall over so it won't bind on the saw, but you also could hold it, and he was strong enough to hold that while I would cut the timber, and then go over and pick the logs up and put them in the. When you have a dog, a working shepherd that's as intelligent as Buck was, and his name was Duke in reality, and you look at you with the ears go up, and dogs, and they're, why aren't you getting the door, Jim? And they're looking at you, and so, sorry. So you get into these dogs, and then. When Duke finally left me, he was like 14 or so, and I'd called our vet and said the time's going to come when Duke's going to go, and I want to know if I could ask you to come to my house and do what you have to do, and we'll just do it right there. And so he did all of that, and I'd called him when the time was, and I cooked Duke a big steak and had the steak, and then I had held him in my arms. If you feel about dogs the way I do, then you could understand why I went overboard with that. And Charlie was in the back of that book, and both of them. He was. We just lost Charlie. I just lost Charlie last December, but he was not only. I won't make this whole thing about dogs. But he was. He was a hearing dog, and I didn't train him as a hearing dog. He was just so bonded with me and so intelligent that he became a hearing dog. And he saved my life more than once. Literally. I'm involved in boating, and I took Charlie down in my boat down the coast to Miami one time, and we stayed at the Miami Marina, and I walked with him to the marine store, and went under an underpass. Miami Beach is a little overpass, and I went under that, the marine store, and I was coming back, and Charlie stood in front of me and almost fell over him, and I turned this way, he did the same thing. Charlie, what are you doing? And then there was a welder up there that I didn't see or smell, and he didn't have barricades, and hot steel was falling down, burning hot, and was going right where I was going to step. And that would have just been, real problem. And then we got over that, and I stayed at the Hyatt Regency. I think it was the Hyatt. I think it's the Hyatt Hotel in Coral Gables. Very, very nice hotel. And I went in with Charlie, and the woman said very politely, "We don't allow any pets here." And I said, "He's a hearing dog." "Oh, okay." Well, and there are real rules where you can't. So I took Charlie, and we went up and we spent the night. When I take my hearing aids off, I'm done. Take them out, done. And I can't sleep with them in. So I took them out, and I go to bed, and it's about 3 a.m, and Charlie comes over, if you don't mind, he just grabs me right here on my arm like this. And he normally would just go like that, or just lick my thing, grabs me like this, and put pressure, and I woke up, and he took me, I followed him. Big dog also, 140 pounds. So he comes over, and we get to the door. I open the door, and there's smoke everywhere. And the alarms are going off. and I go down to the stairway with Charlie. I'm in my pajamas, and I go down to the stairway, and we go down, I don't know how many, 8, 10 floors, whatever it was. And the entire lobby was filled with people, and the firemen were everywhere, and they just hadn't gotten to my room. And there was an actual fire below us, so he saved my life. So I got to tell you, dogs, a little overboard, but I love them.